that will faithfully and truthfully conform to the facts and rules of the mock trial competition.
Can you state your name for the record?
Alex Johnson.
And where do you attend school?
I attend school at Illinois University.
And do you know Chris Donovan?
Yes, I've been good friends with him since high school, and we now go to the same university.
And can you explain what the 4S Club is?
The Forest Club is a club started by students to start a collection of street signs.
Did the 4S Club meet on July 11th, 1997?
Yes, we met at lunch, but it was a short meeting because students had class.
And who stayed with you for that meeting?
Marty Bryant stayed with us, and Chris Donovan stayed.
And were you surprised for any reason?
Yes, I was surprised that Marty Bryant had stayed because I was under the impression that he didn't like, or she didn't like Chris Donovan at all.
And why is that?
Because there was a few choice words said to each other, going for the viewpoints of political things and the viewpoints of how the Forest Club is going.
And what did you and Chris Donovan do that night?
Chris Donovan and I went to see a movie around, he met at my house around 8:30ish, and we went to the movie. It ended about 11:15. We then went to get coffee, and I got him home around 1.
Do you remember what Chris was wearing that night?
Chris was wearing a white No Fear t-shirt and jeans.
The suspicious person by ramp 110 was seen wearing a burgundy and gold St. Eleanor University sweatshirt. To your knowledge, does Chris Donovan own this type of sweatshirt?
No, I don't think so.
How common would a burgundy and gold St. Eleanor University sweatshirt be?
Objection, that's an opinion answer, opinion question.
Your Honor, next one. He goes to the school St. Eleanor, so he would know what students do or do not wear sweatshirts. Can you please answer the question?
She said sustained, so we can answer that question.
Has Chris Donovan in the last 2 months seriously talked about taking street signs?
No.
Thank you. No further questions.
Alright, are you and Chris Donovan part of Forest Club?
Yes.
Okay, and did Chris like the thrill and excitement of taking street signs?
At first, yes.
But he did, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And did Chris mention that having the wrong way do not enter sign would be a cool addition to his collection?
Yes.
Okay, and then did Chris arrive late to your house that night?
Yes.
No further questions.
Your Honor, we'd like to call Aaron Grant to stand.
You promise the testimony not to get will faithfully, truthfully conform to the facts and rules of the mock trial competition.
Okay, so can you state your full name?
Aaron Graham,
Where do you live?
995 Cherry Lane.
Where do you work?
I'm an assistant manager at a local restaurant called Callie's.
How do you know Donovan?
He's my neighbor. He lives across the street from me.
Did you see Donovan the night of the incident? How did you see Donovan?
I just got home from work and I wanted to watch some TV, so I went to I went into the living room to get the TV guide, and I heard my parent, who was near the window, started to make some noises, and so I went over to see if they needed food or water, and upon doing so, I saw No, I didn't.
Was Donovan driving that?
No, it was not.
Did you see who was in the car passing Donovan's house? You know what kind of car Donovan was dropped off in?
No.
How would you characterize Donovan?
He always seemed like a polite and kind person.
Objection, Your Honor, characters on the question. Sustained.
No further questions.
Miss Erin Grant, do you personally know Chris Donovan?
Not personally.
The item that Donovan pulled from his bushes, is it possible that it could have been the wrong way do not enter sign?
I wouldn't know. I didn't see him pull anything out.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Yes. We would like to call up Jesse Martin to stand.
Do you promise the testimony you're about to give will faithfully and truthfully conform to the facts and rules of the law and Constitution?
Good morning, Jesse. Can you please state your full name and spell out your last name for the record?
Jesse, M-I-R-N-T-I.
Perfect. And how old are you?
I'm 7 years old.
And where do you live?
740 Cypress, San Francisco, North.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a computer programmer for Anderson Consulting.
And on your way to work, is there anything you go past often?
The 110 Interstate
Really?
offering.
And when would you say things got a bit off on the way? Did you notice anything different?
On July 11, 1997, I noticed that the wrong way do not enter sign wasn't there
And what time did you see that?
around 5:15 p.m.
And why were you worried about it not being there?
Because I was gonna have a company over that night and I was worried that their lives were in danger.
I hate to hear that. And when you heard that it was Chris Donovan who was arrested, what did you think?
I was shocked because I known him for 5 years and I know he wouldn't put anyone's life in danger.
Did Chris ever
Objection,
mention?
Your Honor, opinion.
Can I explain?
Yeah.
Nah, forget about it. Did Chris ever mention someone who might take the sign?
Yeah.
Could take sign?
You mentioned that Marty was kind of reckless. He wouldn't care what.
Objection, Your Honor, character.
Okay. Right now, we're trying to figure out not only is my client guilty, but who could be at fault for this. And if we have evidence and we have witnesses who can give testimony on why people could be involved in this and who could be, I think as citizens and as people who want to make sure there's justice for this, we need to make sure that every piece of evidence is given out during this case.
Objection, there are no facts in record. Already right.
I have one fact right here. Jesse Martin was friends with him at the time. And they would talk, and I think we should, hear a little bit of something about what was discussed there.
I'm gonna sustain your question. Objection, Your Honor, opinion. Sustain.
Forget about it.
Sorry, you're good.
And my final question, is Chris Donovan the type of guy to put people's lives in danger? No further questions.
How often do you drive past Interstate 110?
Every time I go to work.
What time did you take notice of the missing sign?
5:15 p.m.
No further questions. Okay, so no redirect?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just real quick, just to reinstate, you drive past the sign every day, correct?
Yeah.
So you know for a fact that was the night and that was the time and that's where it was gone. And you saw Chris Donovan that night? That's it. That's all I gotta say.
We'd like to call Chris Donovan on the stand.
you're about to live faithfully and truthfully conform to the facts and rules of the mock trial competition?
I do.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Chris Donovan,
And what is your address?
1000 Cherry Lane, Santa Eleonora, California.
And what were you doing that night?
Right.
Objection, that calls for a narrative answer.
Your Honor, may I explain?
Yes.
Can I be more specific with my question?
Yes.
Chris Donovan, what were you doing? Who were you with on the night of July 11th, 1997?
Objection, that also calls for a narrative answer.
Your Honor, may I explain? Can you please say who you were with?
Alex Johnson.
And can you explain what you were doing at exactly 8:30?
At 8:30, I was still en route to Alex Johnson's house after dropping off books at the library.
And what time did you get home?
I got home from the movies, or not from the movies, but from the coffee shop right around 1 o'clock.
And did you see anything in your bushes when you got home?
I did. I hit my foot on something in the bush, and it just looked to be like a do not enter sign, so I wasn't gonna leave it out there, so I hauled it inside and went to bed.
So you're stating that you found the sign and you did not take the sign?
Yes.
Objection, that question's already been asked and answered, if you take the sign or not.
Your Honor, may I explain? We did not ask the question whether or not he took the sign. What further questions?
Chris, were you part of the 4S Club at Santa Eleonora?
Yes.
And were you still interested in taking street signs?
Yes.
Okay, and then did you mention that you did not have the wrong way to enter sign?
I did.
Okay. And then did Alex and Marty try to persuade you from taking that sign because they said it'd be too dangerous?
From taking it or
Yes.
from not taking it?
From taking the
No,
sign.
they did. They persuaded me to not take it.
Okay. And what time did you get to Alex's house?
Around 8:35-ish.
So 8:30, you were 5 minutes late?
Yeah.
No further questions.
Did you expect Marty Bryant and Alex Johnson to take you seriously when you talked about taking the do not enter sign?
Objection, that calls for an opinion answer.
Your Honor, may I explain? That's not an opinion question.
Yeah,
It's-
yes, it is an opinion. She's asking if he thought it was, so that's his opinion.
Can I restate the question?
Yeah.
Is it true that Marty Bryant could be likely to take the sign for you?
Objection, that calls for an opinion answer.
Sustained.
Is Marty Bryant part of the Forest Club as well?
Yes.
Is she also interested in taking street signs?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.